Hello, and welcome to our presentation on Go Global, Introduction to Services and Funding for Exporting. This is presented to you by WIOT, the Washington Export Outreach Team. We're going to go over an overview of all of our members of the team and how they can help current or potential exporters in exporting. So I'll go ahead and start the slideshow. This is an indication or representation of all the groups that we have available that are participating in our WIOT, our Washington Export Outreach Team. Here's our logo. And to begin our presentation, everyone needs to start with a plan. So I'd like to introduce my colleague from the Small Business Development Center here at Washington State, Ellie Ha.
Thank you, Cathy. Oftentimes we hear from business owners where to start. I want to export and where to start. Well, starting with a plan is a good place. So Washington SBDC stands for Small Business Development Center. Our mission is to help Washington small businesses succeed. We have more than 30 business advisors working toward that goal. Myself, based in Seattle, serving Western Washington, and my colleague Vern Jenkins, based in Spokane, serving Eastern Washington. Next slide, please. So we serve our clients, that is small businesses, primarily through 4 ways: one-on-one business advising, customized market research, and export training webinars. We also advocate for small businesses, help them identify the right resources and make referrals. What's unique about our services? First, all information that businesses share with us remain confidential. We get your permission before we share any information about you outside of our organization. Secondly, our service is highly customized. We really get to know you and your business, and we discuss issues that you care about. Because of that, also because we work with businesses in almost all industries and at almost all stages of the business life cycle, we have a lot of clients that build trusted and a long-term relationship with us. We have businesses that have been with SBDC for more than a decade. Last but not least, thanks to the sponsorship of the Small Business Administration and other organizations, we provide our service to Washington's small businesses at no charge. With that, I'm turning over to my colleague, Vern Jenkins, to dive deeper.
Next slide, please. And Ellie, thanks for the introduction of our services and the programs that we offer businesses in Washington State. And
thank you, Vern. I just wanted to interject. I apologize, but I forgot to advise everyone to, if you have any questions, to please use the chat box, and we'll be able to answer the questions during the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Cathy. As a international trade business advisor with the Washington SBDC, as Ellie referred to, we get to work with a number of businesses. They could be in manufacturing, they could be in biomedical, they could be in value-added ag, all across a number of industry sectors. We have a number of success stories that we share every year. And here in our presentation today, we just want to highlight a couple of them, like Cascade Organic Farms. And it's a rural startup business back in 2015, making organic wheat flour. They are able to attend export readiness workshops and webinars. They worked with the trade advisors in our network, as well as with the Washington State Department of Ag and the Washington State Department of Commerce in a collaborative effort, as we mentioned, in the WIOT, Washington Export Outreach Team. And we help them with understanding where their markets may be with research, how to enter those foreign markets, and also be engaged in international trade activities by visiting those foreign markets, meeting with potential buyers, sharing product information, and being able to make sales into those markets. Oftentimes, companies like Cascade Organic Farms were able to use the STEP grant, which we'll hear more about later on. And that would defray the cost of their outbound trade events. And with the events of meeting foreign buyers, the opportunity to follow up their business planning, they were able to expand export sales and build their business, increase their relationship with foreign buyers, and not only that, but increase business revenues and the number of jobs. And we've been fortunate, because we're part of the WIAT team, to work together in helping a number of businesses across the state of Washington. This small company went from 3 employees to 20 employees, and now 40% of their revenues are from exports. It's now my privilege and opportunity to turn it over to Lisa White with the U.S. Department of Commerce, who will be presenting information on Meet Your Match. And if you need wish to contact Ellie or I, there's our contact information. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much. Lisa, it's all yours now.
Thank you so much, Vern. So I'm Lisa White, and I'm happy to be kicking off the Meet Your Match portion of this program. We provide services for U.S. companies who have a product or service of U.S. origin. Next slide, please. Containing at least 51% U.S. content, who are looking for buyers or international marketing partners, or who need government assistance in overcoming market obstacles or barriers overseas. Next slide, please. I'm a commercial officer at the U.S. Commercial Service Seattle office, which provides services across the state of Washington. Next slide, please. The U.S. Commercial Service is the International Trade Administration's export arm, a part of the U.S. Department of Commerce. Our mission is simple. It's to help grow U.S. exports, and by doing that, also increase U.S. jobs. Our federal agency is truly global. Not only do we have over 100 offices across the United States, but we also work in more than 80 countries all around the world with staff that are based out of U.S. embassies and consulates. We work to support businesses, so we need to be really action-oriented to help you make international deals. We accomplish this through offering a variety of services. Next slide, please. We offer one-on-one export counseling. We can help you to identify the next international market opportunity for your products or services. We also have access to powerful market research databases, and as I stated before, we employ people all around the world who can provide your business with the newest market intelligence to help you determine which markets to pursue. We also offer business matchmaking. We can set you up one-on-one with meetings with potential buyers and distributors. And in certain circumstances, through commercial diplomacy, we can actually leverage our authority as the US government to advocate for your business interests to help you to overcome an international trade barrier. Next slide, please. During the pandemic, our office has become very adept at providing our services virtually. You'll be receiving a copy of the slides after this, so I won't go into too much detail here, but I did just want to note that we have enhanced our virtual service offerings and started offering innovative virtual connection opportunities to make sure that you're still able to connect with international commercial opportunities, even when you cannot travel. You can learn more at trade.gov/virtual-services. Next slide, please. So to provide an example of how our services can lead to international commercial success, I'd like to share a quick story about a Washington state business who produces a non-toxic disinfectant product. They were looking for assistance with breaking into the Indonesian market, and they needed advice on how to get into the marketing authorization that they required in order to market their product in the market. They connected with our colleagues based out of the US Embassy in Indonesia, and they were helped with the expedited emergency approval process so that they were able to market their disinfectant. So thanks to our office's assistance, the company was able to ship $5,000 worth of product to Indonesia, and they anticipate shipping about $150,000 more in future sales over the next year. Next slide, please. So this is our office contact information. As you can see here, each of us supports different industry sectors. The first step to seeing if we offer a service that could help your business grow internationally is to reach out to us. We would love to speak with you. Up next, it's my pleasure to introduce Julie Johnson from the Washington State Department of Agriculture, who will be speaking about their services. Up to you, Julie.
Thank you, Lisa. Again, my name is Julie Johnson, and I'm the Expert Development and Outreach Trade Specialist for the Washington State Department of Agriculture. Next slide, please. So our program works with small to medium-sized Washington suppliers of agricultural and food products, fresh and processed, also beverages, nursery, hay, and pet foods. We work with suppliers at all stages of the exporting process, so please feel free to reach out to any of us and we can get you some help. Next slide, please. The services that we have available, I want to briefly touch on our international marketing core functions. The export development piece is work that I do. And then we have 3 trade specialists who handle the export assistance. We do market access, as well as we have in-market representatives. So really, we, our work, we have certain areas we focus on, but our work does overlap in a lot of ways. I want to briefly touch on our in-market representation. We have representation in Southeast Asia, which covers Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines. We have somebody in Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, and Mexico and Central America. So these in-market representatives are free to Washington companies to help get your products to those markets. They can help you with labeling questions. If you have products stuck in customs, they can help mitigate that, as well as if you were to travel to the country, they can set up in-market meetings with importers. And so they're really a great free resource. We also have project reps in Taiwan, Middle East, South America, and China. And then our future, what does our future look like? Well, we were really hopeful that we would go from virtual missions to in-person missions this fall and winter. And as time continues to go on, it looks like we're going to be virtual for a while. We are planning for one-on-one in-person consultations with our overseas reps of August of 2022. So we're hopeful that we are going to be able to bring them here to meet with you. And we travel around the state to do one-on-one consultations. Next slide, please. The success story that I want to share with you is with Will Line Cider. I reached out to the owner, Susie Jensen, in July of 2020 after she won an SBA award. A quote that I wanted to share was, she said, "Our program has opened her eyes and broadened her perspective on what she can accomplish." And so she said it's really an opportunity of a lifetime that she would have never developed on her own. That virtually, it's great as a new company to be able to do these virtual meetings so that she cannot, from a time standpoint and also money, it's really great for her to be able to participate. She had participated in the WSDA Korea virtual mission. And because of that mission, she is now sending a trial shipment of several flavors of her cider. So we're really excited to have her progress that quickly. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I wanted to talk real briefly. Here's our contact information. Myself and Ryan Perry are in Olympia. Rebecca Weber, Zachary Garza, Elisa Don are trade specialists, and they are focused regionally as well as industry sectors and have certain market assignments. So what that means, if you are a cider company, you would work with Zachary Garza because he handles cider. But say you're trying to get your cider to China, then we would pull Elisa Don in because she focuses on the China market. So you would be working with several of us at once. It's really key to get into our database. By being in our database, you'll receive recruitment information on trainings, seminars, webinars, trade leads. If we were to receive a trade lead, we can do a search. And so I really want, it's really great to get into our database to receive that information. And now I would like to introduce you to Lisa Hokinson with WASADA.
Thank you, Julie. So as Julie mentioned, my name is Lisa Hokanson, and I am one of the Outreach and Communication Coordinators for the Western United States Agricultural Trade Association, or WASADA. WASADA is an independent nonprofit trade association that works with the 13 Western states, American Samoa, and the USDA to help small and medium-sized agribusinesses export their goods overseas. Our organization has been dedicated solely to exporting for 40 years and receives funds from the USDA's Market Access Program. This program is intended to support overseas marketing and promotional activities by US companies. Next slide, please. Within our organization, there are 3 programs we offer our participants. Fund Match is our first program and provides 50% cost reimbursement on eligible international marketing expenses. This could include anything from approved trade shows to label modifications to fit a market's requirements. We've also seen people get more creative lately and use this resource for options that don't require face-to-face interactions, such as TV and radio advertising, direct mail promotions, in-store displays, and social media influencers. Our Global Connect program provides opportunities to explore export markets and expand global distribution through trade shows, trade missions, and more. There are several great opportunities through this program to make connections and get one-on-one time in front of buyers, especially through our state-sponsored missions. More recently, our team has started working with our states to provide virtual trade missions where you can send samples to an event coordinator in a foreign market. Then through Zoom, you would have the opportunity to speak one-on-one with several buyers while they try your product. This has been a great opportunity for businesses to continue meeting potential buyers during the pandemic while saving money on travel and lodging expenses. Our export education program helps companies learn about the benefits of exporting and how to gain access to valuable market research and consumer insights through webinars and seminars. We also offer one-on-one consultations where we have an opportunity to discuss how our programs can meet your company's goals and help you know what markets are a best fit. Next slide, please. So here's a quick look at some of the events we host and sponsor. On the left is an example of the trade missions we organize, which are opportunities to meet one-on-one with pre-qualified foreign buyers. So they're a great opportunity to bring samples of your product and all of your marketing material to meet with several buyers all at once. On the right is an example of an international trade show where we purchase several booths and host our companies within the larger USA pavilion. Next slide, please. One of our participating companies out of Washington is Royal Ridge Fruits. Royal Ridge Fruits is a small 3rd-generation family-owned fruit grower and processor located in central Washington state. With a limited export and travel budget for personnel, Royal Ridge Fruit participates in the Fund Match program to help maximize participation in key trade events while gaining the international exposure they seek for their products. In 2019, Royal Ridge Fruits used Fund Match to attend the Gulf Food Trade Show in Dubai. After exhibiting at the show several times, the agribusiness was connected with multiple first-time customers who have, over time, turned into reliable repeat customers. They also frequently attend Global Connect events and have been able to diversify their buyers, therein ensuring their future. Next slide, please. If you're interested in any of our programs or would like to discuss in more detail how WASADA can help your business with exporting, feel free to contact me anytime. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation on our website or create your free My WASADA account at wasada.org. There are many resources on our website, including the events we have scheduled and our Fund Match guide that outlines the types of expenses that can be reimbursed. And now I'd like to hand the presentation over to Nicole Gunkel with the Washington State Department of Commerce.
Thanks, Lisa. So if you're a small business looking for support in international markets to attend trade shows or trade missions, or for grants to help cover your international business development activities, we at the Washington State Department of Commerce are here to help. Next slide. My name is Nicole Gunkel. I'm with the Small Business Export Assistance Division within the Washington State Department of Commerce. And today I'm going to go over the programs and services available for small business exporters. Next slide. The Washington State Department of Commerce has a number of overseas consultants to help Washington businesses expand into new markets. These consultants can help with B2B matchmaking, partner searches, they can do market intelligence reports, and they can represent small businesses at international trade shows. Next slide. During the pandemic, our team really pivoted to make sure that we could still help Washington companies explore new markets or further expand into markets without traveling. We invested a lot more in virtual missions and virtual trade shows. We supported a lot of virtual B2B matchmaking. We hosted a lot of export trainings and workshops and continue to collaborate with federal, state, and local partners. Next slide. Another program that we offer is the STEP Export Voucher Program. STEP stands for State Trade Expansion Program, and this is funded in part by the SBA to help get small businesses, products, and services into international markets. For the STEP Export Voucher, companies can receive up to $10,000 per year to help offset the cost of international business development activities. Next slide. Here's just a small list of eligible expenses to use the STEP Export Voucher for. Pre-pandemic, a lot of our companies were using the voucher to travel to international trade shows, to travel to meet with potential partners or distributors, and ship samples of their products. Now we're seeing a lot of companies use the voucher to update their website for international markets, make sure that they're optimizing their search engine in foreign countries, developing an e-commerce platform, and making sure all of their marketing media and website is translated into a local language. Next slide. Some high-level information about the STEP program. Again, the maximum award is $10,000 per year per company. This can be spread out between up to 3 applications. Our new funding cycle starts October 1st and runs through September of 2022. And just a note, some of the reimbursement activities do have caps set, and to see a full list of the eligible activities and their caps, please visit our website. Next slide. How to know if you're eligible. Here are some of the criteria we're looking for. You do have to be a small business as defined by the SBA. They have a great tool on their website. If you're unsure, you're able to look up based on your NICS code what qualifies you as a small business. You do have to be in business for at least 1 year, demonstrate export readiness, and be registered in the state of Washington. Next slide. So what do you do next? If you're interested in applying for the Export Voucher Program, the first thing to do is fill out an application on our website. Once you've completed the application, you will email it to me. Applications are reviewed twice a month. And once a decision is made, you will get an award letter saying how much you will be reimbursed up to. You'll then conduct your activity, and once you finish, you'll submit all of your documentation for reimbursement. Next slide. So our team is also split up by industry. Here's each trade specialist by industry. If you have general questions about the program or the Export Voucher Program, I'm here to answer any questions. Next slide. And here's my contact information. And now I'd like to introduce Zara, the director of the Export Finance Assistance Center of Washington. She's going to kick off this section for financing.
Thank you, Nicole. Hello, everyone. I'm Zara Castillo, and I'm Director for the Export Finance Assistance Center of Washington. We are mandated by the state to provide free advice and counsel to Washington state companies on general info and payment methods you should consider when you're exporting. We work with companies that are either just starting or thinking about exporting or are already exporting. So the companies that we work with are diverse in a way that some of them would like to know ahead about payment methods they should be considering before they start exporting. But then in other cases, we also work with companies that would like to take the exporting process step by step and wait until the opportunity to meet a buyer and then learn about payment methods they should be considering. We don't have a specific industry focus because everyone needs to get paid. So everyone needs assistance or understanding on how to get paid. And just to be clear, sometimes our organization's name is a little bit misleading. So we don't have a specific product or don't provide direct grants. Our service is to provide advice. So we're not experts in everything in exporting, but we do have a lot of partnerships, both federal and state agencies that we refer our clients to. In addition to that, we have been providing a lot of free webinar trainings, which usually could cost up to $300 to attend them. But through a federal grant that we receive from the SBA, we're able to provide them for free. So take advantage of them. You can find the information on our website at efacw.org/events, which is linked on this page. So I just wanted to talk to you about how our services are put into practice with two real life examples. One is an organic vegan skincare company. This was about 4 years ago. They were just starting to export in small quantities, but have been selling domestically for years. So they found us online and reached out to us. We talked about opportunities they might have and attended a few of our trainings, which allowed them to actually understand more about exporting and payment methods. From that training, IFAQUA, my organization, introduced them to SBA. And since then, they have been using an SBA Expert Loan Guarantee Program, which you'll hear more about later in one of the presentations. But for now, back to this company. This company has been exporting in over 10 countries, which is amazing. And so another example I'd like to talk about is a manufacturer of a medical equipment that we work with. So back then, they weren't exporting at all, but they recognized that they have a niche product and would like to explore opportunities overseas. But of course, they were concerned with non-payment risks. So we went through their payment options, they attended one of our trainings, and then introduced them to Exim Bank and learn about export credit insurance, which you'll hear more about in a bit as well in one of the presentations. And since then, they have been exporting in 3 different continents and have been using export credit insurance to give them the sense of security against non-payments. So here's my contact info. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. And next, I have the pleasure to introduce you to Maria Dorset from the Foreign Agriculture Service at the United States Department of Agriculture.
Thanks, Zara. My name is Maria Dorset. I am with the Foreign Ag Service, as Zara just stated. We provide primarily support to U.S. exporters by way of trade policy and trade promotion. Next slide, please. And we assist U.S. exporters in a variety of ways. Here are the main categories that FAS works with U.S. ag exporters. USDA has a global network of nearly 100 offices covering about 175 countries around the world. Our international staff is typically located within the U.S. embassies abroad. They are our feet on the ground to gain market intelligence, trade leads, make introductions, and inform us about market conditions and exporting to the countries that they cover. FAS also provides trade finance programs. These are the 2 that FAS administers on behalf of the department. One is the GSM 102 Export Credit Guarantee Program, and the other is the Facility Guarantee Program. GSM 102 is primarily providing payment assurance by providing a 98% guarantee on the value of a shipment, typically for agricultural commodities or other types of food products. FGP is project financing. So this is a guarantee that would be utilized for the sale of goods and services that are the inputs into an ag-related piece of infrastructure or project in an overseas market. We also have market development programs. You've heard about some of these already from the WASADA presentation. FAS has about 15, a little bit more than 15 market development programs where we provide funding to cooperators and trade associations and other groups who in turn work with exporters and agricultural companies to help them with international marketing activities, market studies, and even conducting some risk assessments for crop pests and disease. FAS also works on trade policy issues. Oftentimes, these are the types of issues that can inhibit trade. So FAS staff works with their counterparts in other countries or in multilateral organizations, such as the World Trade Organization, to help negotiate or resolve these trade barriers. Many exporters rely on our market intelligence to better understand how to access trade opportunities. FAS makes available numerous databases and resources for further research, such as our GAIN reports. This is known as the Global Agricultural Information Network and can be accessed for understanding trade practices and opportunities that exist in a particular market, along with getting specific updates about how to do business there. Lastly, our trade missions and shows make introductions to potential partners and buyers. We typically schedule trips for the upcoming fiscal year and sponsor US pavilions at numerous trade shows, both domestically and abroad. Until travel reopens more fully, these have been performed in a virtual format. Next slide, please. And here's an example of how one of our FAS programs was brought to bear for the advantage of a US company. This US company was it was a wine exporter in California who was trying to make a sale in South Korea. The buyer there needed credit terms that would allow payments over time rather than having to pay for everything all upfront. The GSM 102 program provided a guarantee that allowed the flexibility needed to conclude the sale. It resulted in a shipment of wine valued at $1 million. Next slide, please. Here's my contact information should you have any further questions or would like to follow up. And now I'll turn it over to Abby Martinez from Exim Bank.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for that introduction. I am Abby Martinez. I am a regional director at the Export-Import Bank of the United States. And actually, our name is a little misleading because we really don't support imports, and we're not really a bank. So who are we? Next slide, please. So we are the official export credit agency of the U.S. government. Our mission is to support U.S. jobs by facilitating U.S. exports. We have different regional offices throughout the United States, and we support U.S.-based companies who export. I will also say that nearly 90% of all of our support has been for small businesses. Next slide. So here are some eligibility and restrictions that we have. Some things to just keep in mind. So definitely, I'm not going to read through all of them, but one of the main things that kind of differentiates us is that in order to qualify for Exim, your product has to be US made or has to have at least 50% US content or value add. Okay. You also have to be selling into a country. So your buyer must be located in a country where we provide support. You can find out where that support is available through our country limitation schedule, which is on our website. That schedule does change periodically, so please keep your eyes open and make sure you are aware of any changes as they occur. One thing I will also mention on the restrictions is that we do not support any military or defense related products. There are some exceptions, but it's almost always going to be a no. Next slide. So how can Exim Bank how can our products assist you? So we have some products that we offer to our exporters. We do have a working capital guarantee. This is when you need financing to fulfill some of your export orders, right? It is a lender program. So we provide your lender with a guarantee so that they could lend to you on those export orders. We also have export credit insurance, which is another one of our solutions. And actually, it is our most demanded product that we offer. All size companies utilize that product, whether you're small, large, it doesn't matter. Anybody who wants to mitigate their risk of foreign buyer non-payment, you will be utilizing that insurance policy. And then we also have financing available to foreign buyers if you're selling capital equipment. And what this does is it provides term financing for those buyers. So it's medium or long-term insurance or loan guarantees for those types of products. Next slide. So as I mentioned, our export credit insurance policies really is our biggest, our most demanded product by exporters. And some of the benefits listed here really stands out and really makes you realize why it is. So number one is it allows you to mitigate your risk. So it protects against foreign buyer non-payment. Okay, so for both commercial and political risk. And commercial meaning if they declare bankruptcy, if they are slow to pay, if there's lack of cash flow from their side in order to pay you, that type of risk would be covered. Also political risk, if there's some type of civil unrest or if there's anything in the country, war, insurrection, anything like that, it would also be covered. Okay. Another benefit of having an export credit insurance policy is the fact that it could you could utilize it as a sales tool. Okay, it empowers you to be able to sell on terms that you may not normally be willing to offer. So for instance, if you're only selling cash in advance and you realize that most of your competitors are offering 30 days or 60-day terms, this would give you that assurance that you could extend your terms and sell to them on those 30, 60-day terms, and yet you know that you're mitigating that risk that you're taking by extending that. And then also, it is also a financing tool. You know, there's banks out there that will take an assignment of this policy and utilize it for financing. Typically, most banks exclude foreign receivables from any type of borrowing capacity, but if they were to obtain an assignment of this policy, they probably would they would treat those foreign receivables almost as if they were domestic, and they would include them in your borrowing capacity. Next slide, please. Here is my contact information. If you'd like some more information, please feel free to reach out. I would be more than willing to answer any questions you may have. And now I will pass it off to Cathy Griffith from the Small Business Administration. Cathy?
Thank you, Abby. And I'm going to co-present with my colleague, Jim Newton, who is an export finance manager. So he and I are going to tag team a little bit on the Small Business Administration and how we can help our exporters. So if you are a for-profit business and you are considered a small business, if you're a direct exporter or an indirect exporter, if you ship your products or your services from the United States and you have good character, credit management, and ability to repay, if you're an existing business or if you're an early stage business and can demonstrate export experience, and you have an export business plan, you might consider coming to the Small Business Administration to see what services and support we have available for you. Jim?
And if you're looking for grants for export market development or for e-commerce purposes, or possibly for loans to support your exporting activities, SBA can definitely be of help in building your export base.
So I work at the district office. My name is Cathy Griffith. I should have introduced myself. I apologize. And I'm the district international trade officer. I had to think about that because I always refer to myself as a ditto. My capacity or my job at the district in Seattle is to assist exporters or potential exporters, as well as lenders, in helping get our international loan programs available to them. We offer one-on-one consultative services. We refer small businesses to lenders and other resource partners that could help them. We train and update lenders on our international products so that they're comfortable with offering that to their clients. We train our resource partners, and we also are a representative on the WIAT, of course, which is why I'm here today. How about you, Jim?
And as far as the SBA Office of International Trade, which is a subset of the larger SBA 7A lending program, we are available exclusively for export financing. And we have programs to support export market development, almost like an extension of the STEP program, but as a loan. We make funds available for e-commerce development. In fact, we have seen a substantial growth in e-commerce exports over the course of the pandemic, and we now anticipate that that will continue to grow, and we want to be able to support that. We definitely provide export working capital on both a pre-shipment and post-shipment basis, or as a combination of the two, so that you can acquire materials or pay labor or purchase equipment to be able to put into the export market and then carry it forward to collection if it's an open account sale, and we will help cover those foreign receivable collections. We do often call on Exim Bank to assist in providing export credit insurance for those open account sales, but those can be structured in many different ways. We also support the issuance of standby letters of credit as bid bonds, performance bonds, and advanced payment guarantees, and we do it in a way that can actually help preserve capital on your part, so that you only have to post 25% cash collateral under our guarantee program to issue a standby letter of credit, especially in the case of an advanced payment guarantee where you're receiving funds from your foreign buyer, and then you only have to post 25% of the funds that you receive to put that standby in place. We finance fixed assets in the form of real estate, machinery, and equipment. You can use the export programs for permanent working capital. If you've arrived at a higher level of export sales that need continuous support, permanent working capital would be most appropriate. And then we can also make it available for debt refinancing if needed, and even business acquisitions or change of ownership. I am actually sitting in for John Brislin, who is the go-to guy in Seattle, is the export finance manager for Washington and Idaho and Alaska at present. He is my counterpart in Seattle. I'm down in Portland, and I'm currently sitting in for him while he's on a 120-day detail, helping our Office of Capital Access process the backlog of loans that are developed in the big push to September 30. So everybody would like to make use of the free fee waiver, or actually the debt offset as well. So I'm temporary as far as Seattle is concerned, but I'll be glad to be of assistance to you in any way I can. Cathy?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim. And I'm based in Seattle, and there's my contact info. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So this pretty much completes our presentation today, but I would like to encourage you, if you have any follow-up questions, please put those in the chat box, and we will be sticking around and answering those questions. And please remember, Here at the Washington Export Outreach Team, our motto is there is no wrong door. You are please welcome to contact any one of us. And if our program isn't specifically meeting your needs, we'll make sure to refer you to one of our colleagues here inside the WIAT that can help you. So thank you very much. We appreciate this opportunity to talk with you about our services, and we look forward to hearing from you.